Hey everyone, I appreciate you for watching another one of our Coping with COVID videos. I'm Jordan from the Chambersburg Chamber of Commerce, and I want to thank our guest for taking the time out of his busy day to chat. I think most everyone knows him, but for the few who don't, today's guest is the owner of Brussels Cafe, Alex Hemeryckx. Alex, hello my friend, how is life?
Hello, good morning. Lovely, grateful to be healthy and to be here in downtown Chambersburg.
Amen, brother. It's a beautiful day. So, Alex, wanted to ask you here first and foremost. Love Brussels Cafe. I think it's a wonderful place. I love going to get breakfast there, having some delicious coffee there. For those that haven't come to experience Brussels Cafe, tell me, what do you guys specialize in? And what are some of your different offerings on your guys' menu?
Right, so Brussels Cafe, it's a fusion between a coffee shop and my family Belgian bakery, I would say, that specialize in authentic Belgian Brussels waffle and French crepe. Different drinks and pastries are very European influenced.
Alex, what makes a crepe a crepe? Like it's almost like I mean, essentially, it's a thin pancake, right?
Exactly, that's the easiest way to describe it. Now, you got to realize that in in France, they are the one that they can claim that they started the crepes a while back ago. You go to Mexico and Spain, they'll call them crepas. They'll have the same version if you go to Russia and they call them blinchiki. You can go to Japan or China and they'll have their own version of crepes, right? So crepe can have many, many names and it's quite recognizable through the world in different tastes and flavors within the same fashion of cooking. Yes.
That's very interesting. I've gotten really into food here over this whole quarantine. So we just have to talk over coffee some morning. I suppose I have to pick your brain about all the different foods in the world because obviously you seem pretty doggone knowledgeable there, my friend.
I've been around. I've been around, and just for the fun factor about it, we just got rated this morning. It's going to be funny to say, but we just got rated number one spot in Chambersburg on foodpornlist.com.
Wow.
Wow. I know the name sounds kind of funny and sketchy, but there is a pretty famous hashtag that goes around the world with that name.
Well, congratulations. Being number one in anything is a good spot to be, and food's delicious. The other name just happens to all mesh together with it. So, hey, nonetheless,
You
congratulations.
got it.
You
You got
deserve it,
it.
man, seriously. And I'm sure you're number one in a lot of other spots. If not number one, you're definitely at the top of the list always. So, love your food. So, thanks for sharing that with us. Um, Obviously, name of the series, Coping with COVID. So maybe not in the greatest light ever, but I know you've been, literally coping through it all. Kind of what's this whole process been like? I know we're here finally, I believe, at least tomorrow, going into the green phase
Yeah.
in Chambersburg. So what's this sort of been like from, the beginning to the end of this process?
Oh man, so up and down. And for the people that know me really well, they will know that there's two things that I fear in life. First is height. Second is roller coasters. And I can tell you that COVID has taken me onto Mall of America, biggest roller coaster that they have to offer. I'll tell you that, right? So, um, every year it seems kind of a repeat for me so far in the past 3 years where I tend to end my year on Valentine's Day. I know it sounds kind of funny, but Valentine's Day is where I wrap up my year, right? So, and then after that, I can take a breather during the slower months, I should say, the months where we get pounded with the snow. So, like every year, I decide to go and dedicate some family time with my grandmother in Belgium, right, and my mother. So this year was nothing special. I did the same thing. Um, they were able to see me for 15 days. So I went to Belgium and I had a time of my life, get to spend every day that I could with my grandmother, my mother, my dad. It was a great time. And as I'm in Belgium, everything is the same as usual. It's having a good time, obviously. It's amazing. And towards the end of my 15 days, we're starting to see some creep up news about COVID, right? So COVID is slowly hitting Belgium now. We know that Belgium has been hit about 3 weeks before the US was hit, right? So I'm on my last day being in Belgium, having a good time, dinner with family, go to bed early. I have to catch my flight at 6 a.m. out of Brussels airport. So I should be awake by 3 a.m. And so I remember that night. So I went to bed, woke up at 3 a.m. and the first thing that I do is check out and see if I have any message from my wife. Everything is doing well before I take off. And I turn on my phone and I literally receive 42 text message overnight between Messenger and my regular message. And all of 42 of them within that span of 4 hours were asking me the same question. Are you okay? Are you able to make it back to the US? I say, what do you mean? I don't understand what you guys are talking about. So during the night, as I was sleeping, apparently our president made an announcement that they would shut down border on that following day. Well, that following day being my day. So it was, catch 22. So I woke up, showed this to my parent. They're like, you gotta go, right? So quick kiss and let's go, right? So race to the airport. Nobody's racing yet. I just woke up. So made it to the airport, no question asked. It was fine. But it was the last day of traveling. So after that, they shut down all borders. So found my way through Dublin, had a great party in Dublin for a couple hours, and headed back to DC. Here's the thing that was interesting. Came back to DC, there was no checks, nothing. I mean, you could just walk on in, Dublin as well. Nobody's wearing masks at the time. Everybody's in and out, nobody's checking nobody. Temperature, nobody cares about it. Everybody's traveling as usual, and you're out. Cool, made it home. So made it home, and the next day I'm back at the cafe, and we're still we're still doing well at the time because COVID hasn't hit the US yet. I just traveled back 3 weeks in time now. So where COVID wasn't a thing just yet.
Mhm.
So we opened the weekend and that was the last weekend that we opened up because that Saturday they announced COVID, Pennsylvania was shutting down and then, you know, everything took on fire at that time, right? So at that point of time, we decided also on that following Sunday, on the day of announcement, to shut down Brussels Cafe. So this is like 2 days after I came back right away, because we didn't know, like most people, what was going on and what will happen to us. And again, like everybody knows, the most important person for me is not myself, but my employees. I love my client, I love everybody, but my number one priorities is my employees. I want to make sure they're safe because there's nothing that we know about this COVID yet, right? So cool. So we shut down and we took a break for 2, 3 weeks. And after 2, 3 weeks, during that time, I was thinking, how can I? My second priority, once my employees were safe, was that I didn't want to lay off any of my employees. So I want to make sure that they still get hours and they still get paid. So now it was time to think about how to become creative in generating revenues for me to be able to employ my employees right away, right? So we came up with a few ideas, and I think it was within a week and a half of that. Well, we did some massive renovation and like clean up, so that I mean we took everything out. So that took us, a good week and a half to go through that process. So I was happy. It worked out for everybody. Everybody was safe, good to go. And then I think it was a week and a half, 2 weeks after that, we decided to reopen Brussels Cafe as a walk-through service through the window. That's I think I saw you at that time.
Mhm.
So that worked out well for us. I mean, when I say worked out well, it worked well for being reopened, I should say, and to keep our staff busy as it could be. Obviously, this old COVID-19 took a huge toll on our community, on most businesses, even to us. We're still knocking on wood and waiting for the days that we're going to go back green. When I say green, is not green of tomorrow, is I mean green back in the positive, right? So, but it's okay. We start to see the end of the tunnel very quickly, and hopefully, knock on wood, it's something. they will see very quickly again. But our main goal was really to keep our employees safe, to make sure that they could keep their job, and secondly, to keep our community safe and our community happy and also safe as well, because we started receiving a lot of message from our communities like, hey, when can you think that you're going to reopen? You know, you're an essential business. Listen, essential business to me was, it's very subjective. If you ask me when I was deployed with the military, essential business was an MRE 3 times a day. Is a crepe and coffee essential? In my book, not so much. But this could be debatable with everybody. It's but so we decided that we reopened the business, and one step at a time we did it, right? So very carefully. So then, and during that time we're wearing masks and all that jazz to make sure everybody was safe. And then we switched to the orange phase, right? I think, or the yellow phase, whatever it was,
Mhm.
from our state. And then at this point we decided to loosen our restriction as well, where we would not be utilizing masks at this point, and we would allow customer with and without wearing masks to come in and support us as well. Yeah. Do you have any questions so far?
You're perfect, man. I don't have to ask any questions. You're just going right down the line. I appreciate it,
Okay.
Alex. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Just give me a second. I don't want my power cord to go down. Joyce, can you please bring me my power cord for the laptop? It's under by the sugar. Thank you. Sorry for that. All right. So basically, we decided that was a very tough decision, right? To say, hey, we're not going to be wearing masks anymore. We're going to be a mask-free zone during the orange phase, because it's extremely subjective, right? So some people at this point now, we start to see a lot of people saying, well, let me connect my laptop real quick.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Joyce. All right, so basically the idea was we realized during COVID something that we weren't very happy with, right? Um, and what we're not happy with is the fact that towards the end, and I don't know if I should say the end of COVID, but like I would say at this time, we start seeing a lot of divisions within the United States. And it's very heartbreaking when I hear that, because um, anybody that knows me and knows me a little bit of my history, when I decided to move to United States was in 2000, right at the end of 2001, beginning of 2002. I moved because of September 11, 2001 to join the U.S. Army. And I couldn't speak a lick of English, right? So, but I did it, and, I felt very proud and happy to be able to make this new country that accepted me, to be able to fight for something that I thought was amazing. So I thought that COVID would give the same flavor to the United States from back then, but it unfortunately did not. When I first moved to the United States in 2002, I don't know if you remember or not, or for the people that remember, I remember seeing United States as one. So 95% of citizens were all together. They were all hand in hand. It didn't matter if you're a Democrat, it didn't matter if you're a Republican, nobody cared who you were.
Mhm.
White, black, yellow, purple, didn't matter who you were. Everybody were together with one sense of community together. It was United States, America, number one.
It's so funny, Alex, real quick. I was so young and I genuinely remember that. I mean, I felt like there was some sort of like a divide a little bit, and then all of a sudden it didn't matter at all because obviously George Bush was president. I think he had a very
Yeah,
poor, approval rating at that point in time. And then all of a sudden it was like, 9/11 happened, and then, we really did just become one as a country. And I can't tell you off the top of my head how young I was, but I remember being a young, that's for sure. So yeah, sorry to
yeah,
interrupt.
yeah. So so it was that, and then that was my positive to the United States back in 2002. And now I look at COVID when this thing happened. Um, I'll give you a little funny joke on the side of it. Um, so we closed Sunday. That Sunday when we get announced to shut down. And my wife was like, "Hey, time to go grocery shopping. So cool. I'm going to a local grocery store and it's like chaos. And when I say chaos, it's like serious chaos. Somebody's, I witnessed from my car, somebody almost getting run over with a baby, and it was just like madness. So I called my wife. I was like, I don't know, babe, like what's going on? But this is it like Resident Evil, end of the world? What's going on? She's
Yeah.
like, well, my wife doing what she does best, remind me of the things that I forget. She's like, the baseball bat that you forgot in Alabama before we moved, it would be great to have it because if push comes to shove, you have nothing to defend myself. And my wife knows really well that I'm anti-gun type of guy, such is so ironic. I used to fire the biggest gun that the military has
Hmm.
to offer for so many years, right? I have specific reason for that, that I'm not a huge gun fan. But anyway, I say, cool, I'll go to Dick's Sporting Good and I'll pick up a baseball bat. And so I'm walking into Dick's Sporting Goods, and I'm going to use some very nice word. I'm the only person that's holding a baseball bat in that store and about to check out. And I'm looking at the line of me, and there's about 35 people in front of me, all carrying those little hand basket. And you want to take a wild guess what was those hand basket about?
Ammo.
All day long. And I never felt this in my whole life where I felt insecure. I felt unsafe for me, for my family, for my employees, and my friend. It was not a good feeling. It was scary feeling, right? So I dropped the baseball bat. I put it down. I walked my happy butt in the back of the store and I said, I'm going to buy a gun and you're going to give me the biggest gun that you own. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'm the last guy that would ever buy a gun in my life. Never. And I don't even know what to do with the thing. Anyway.
I think you probably know what to do with the thing, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's like, it's a rare feeling, right? So then you're seeing people in the grocery store literally, I mean, we've witnessed it in front of us. We stopped by BJ's, just checking things out. People were fighting. They had to call the police department. People were fighting over toilet paper. I mean, really? So we're starting seeing divisions, right? So the community is divided. Well, it's not a good feeling, right? So when you take a look at how this whole COVID went down, it really breaks my heart because sense of community really vanished. It wasn't that difficult. I mean, really, of course, there are certain things they could have done better, but people usually tend to do with what they have and what they think is best, right? So it's so difficult to do what we think is right when it's done. We cannot say, "Oh, you should have done this way." I'm sure that if we knew that, people would have done things differently at the time.
Mhm.
So when you look how this year has been, it has been so difficult, right? And the reason why I'm looking at this is like, by all means, people that know me, I'm not a political person. I'm not a fan of politics at all. I just do things for the people and like people the way they are. But we start the year with the presidential impeachment that failed. We switch the year to full speed COVID 19. And then after COVID 19, it was Black Lives Matters. And then after Black Lives Matters, I believe that it's going to go now into the presidential election. And I'm a huge fan of, if you ever noticed this video by Google, Year in Review, I don't even want to look at it this year. It's awful. I want to see some positivity, right? So I'm so tired of divisions of people. It's already enough in normal time when we have Democrats, Republicans, Democrat, and all this. It divides the community. I'm not a fan of it. I love everyone equally, doesn't matter who they are. But I feel like in the past 3 months, we have added so many sub layers to divide our community that it's not fun at all. Now, the latest and greatest is who wear masks versus who does not wear masks, which business wear masks versus who does not wear masks. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. I think that people should do the right thing, what they think is right, in an adult manner, in a professional manner, and love each other again. I'm sorry to say so, but
Mhm.
that's the truth.
Yep.
Because people have been struggling in finding positivity in the past 3 months, that we are on a mission to create positivity. Like this is our main goal because people needs it. We need it. We need to smile every day. Hey, the summer is here, you know.
It is.
So we got to make people happy again, really.
Yeah.
So
You
yeah,
know, it doesn't matter if you're far right, far left, somewhere in the middle. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm totally with you, man. We're really all one, and I think getting along, it really doesn't take that much at the end of the day. So I'm
yeah,
on board with you, brother.
yeah. Somebody shared with me on the side note a really cool picture. I wanted to post that the other day. It's very interesting because, like, for example, the mask situation. You'll have business that will, you know, if you don't wear a mask, you're not able to come in, right? And
Mhm.
some business will say, if you don't wear a mask, you can come in. And who say what is right and what is wrong? Some people say, well, it's science. Some people say, blah blah blah. It never ends. And somebody said to me, send me this picture, and it's really interesting. It's actually pretty deep. It's a cylinder picture, right? It's just a picture of a cylinder,
Yeah.
and depending on the shade of the light that hits the cylinder, you may see it as a cylinder, and I may see it as a square, right? A rectangle, I should say. And it means that it doesn't matter if you think you're right or you're wrong. It always means that there are different views, right? So people see mask differently than everybody else, and that is the reason why we all have our own personal opinion. Now, does this mean that you're right and you're wrong? No, you're not right. You're not wrong. People that take things to heart usually do that because they believe that what they're right. That doesn't make them wrong, right? So what we really need to learn ourselves, and we're very grateful that Chambersburg is a community that understand each other for the most part, is to actually slow our roll down for a hot second and try to understand that person on the opposite. They may have different view than us, and to try to understand what their views are and maybe to learn a few things.
Sure. I'm totally with you, man. I've heard plenty of people say, let's all take a deep breath, and relax a little bit. Obviously, at some point, we'll be back to probably full bore again, everyone being busy.
Sure.
This has been a good time period to just really sit back, reflect, and get some energy back. So although there's been a ton of negative with it, there's still a lot of positives that you can take from this as well. So
Listen,
more with your
there's,
positivity.
exactly, there's so many positive things that happen with COVID. I'm sorry to say that. Even though there's a lot of negativity that happens with it,
Sure.
I like to to try to do my best to try to remember the positive that came out of it, right? So let me give you a couple of examples of certain things that has been extremely positive for us in Brussels because of COVID. So for the people again that know me and know our business, we used to run 7 days a week, almost all day long. I'm kind of like reflect myself as a chicken with my head cut sometimes. I
Yeah.
try and do so many things, and when you do so many things over and over again, you lack time, right? So when you don't have time, it can be very dangerous sometimes because if you don't have time, you can't expand. You can't see new ways. You cannot see new things that you want to do. And most and foremost, you're not forced to think outside of the box. When you're forced of thinking outside the box for a business, for example, you'll come up with new ways that are maybe not as great. And sometimes you'll come up with like, this is genius. This is amazing. And thanks to COVID, it forced us to go into that direction. I'm thankful for it, right? So
Mhm.
we have a couple product items on our menu now that we developed during COVID, and okay, it's almost becoming a staple to us nowadays to have this product on the shelf. No way before COVID we would even have think to come up with such item, right? So I'm thankful for COVID about that. But another thing that I'm very thankful for COVID is really about certain people, and I'm sure certain people will recognize if they see this video. Um, I made some very strong new friends. And being my wife and I, we're both from Europe. We don't have any family members in the United States. I can count to you on one hand how many personal friend I have outside of work, right? So it's very limited. And I really actually made some new friends outside of work, and it's like family to me at this point. So I'm super thankful for that. I'm also super thankful for being able to be in business till today and prove to me that what I thought was going to be our business model actually worked. Um, Despising trial and difficult time, right? So I never knew and I never expected COVID to hit us since we reopened Brussels 4 years ago almost. But the one thing I did expect to hit us was maybe a 2007 recession. So I put that in my business plan, and accounting for that in the future, that in the next 10 to 15 years we may get hit by a recession. How is Brussels going to answer to that recession during those time, with a heavy focus on employee retention, right? So it wasn't a recession; it was COVID. So we put that plan of action right the same month that it happened. We took out the business plan. It's like, okay, how did our planning works? And I'm very happy that it worked well. So
You.
I want to say that's really what I want to say. It helped us for planning in the future for unknown, right? So I was very, knock on wood again, very happy that we had that in plan, right?
Yeah.
So that helped us out a little bit. Now we're going back very soon tomorrow to the green phase, and you know, I'm not sure if we're one of the last state going green, but hey, I gotta tell you, it's rough, right? So even though we're in a orange portion right now of the COVID, we've reopened our tables outside. Tomorrow we're reopening at 50% inside. Um, some of the things that has changed with us was that we're not operating as a 7-day business anymore, but we'll operate under a 5-day business for the time being until we get our foot back on the ground and everything that will go well. And I can go deeper into explanation of what we're doing in the future later on this conversation, but there's reason behind. The one thing that's the one thing it's very sad, is retouching because it breaks my heart every day is that I despise COVID-19. Even though there is positive things, I really despise it for what he has done for two things. First, for the people that unfortunately lost their lives in this past 3 months. I mean, globally, it's insanity. Um, and second is one of the biggest impact to me that I've noticed is what he has done to our community worldwide and how much depression, state of despair, negativity he has spread through the world. And it's really breaking my heart. It really, it's awful. There's a
Yeah.
two, you know,
There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it, Alex. I mean, death, something that causes death is obviously never an exciting thing. It's always a pretty negative topic and not something that we want to ever happen. So, again, I mean, that's just obviously, I mean, the case of there's a ton of negative with this, and then there is unfortunately some positive things that come with this. And I mean, that's simply life, if you ask me. But
yeah,
not to get too into that. But hey, let's move on. Let's talk about something a little different. How about that?
I agree. I
All
agree.
right, well, let's do it. So tell me a little bit about, so a lot of places, I think this is kind of a good transition. So a lot of places for outdoor dining and things like that. Something you're doing out.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out. What were you saying?
No worries. I asked outdoor dining. That's something a lot of restaurants have been moving towards. Have you
Yeah.
put into doing anything with more outdoor dining availability?
So yes and no, right? So we always had outdoor dining since 3 years now in the summertime in the alley. That is the reason why actually we took this building for Brussels Cafe because I fell in love with the alley day one. So we did add an extra 2 tables this year and minus 1 table. Um, Now we know a table walks away sometimes in the evening during nighttime. They can grow legs and go, but it's fine. she never found home again and she didn't come back, but that's fine. So we did find that's it's okay. It's cost of doing business, right? It keeps us entertained on a daily basis in different ways. But we did add two tables to our outside, outdoor facility, and we're so lucky because by the use of our alley, we were able to spread out the tables 20 feet apart. So they're saying six. We have the luxury to go 20, so we went 20 at the moment, and it's really good ambiance as long as it doesn't rain.
Hmm.
So we did have that, and that's a yearly thing. Yeah, sure, we do have outdoor dining.
I'm a fan of outdoor dining. I don't know what it is. I just kind of enjoy being outside and eating. If it's not like, 100 degrees and the sun's like pelting me, I'm all about outdoor dining. So I'm kind of glad that that's been stressed a little bit more, to tell you the truth. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that every food facility across America now today has outdoor dining because if you're
yeah,
trying to go find some kind of outdoor dining commercial tables anywhere locally or online, good luck. They're all sold out across the nation. First was toilet paper, now it's outdoor dining tables. So, we go from one another, right? So supply and demand.
I'd say. Uh, Tell me a little bit about, you talked to me a little bit before we got on here today about you guys thinking of starting a food truck. I think that's already in the process and good to go. Tell me about that a little bit, Alex.
That's actually a pre-COVID idea, right?
Oh,
So the
cool.
pre-COVID idea started about last year, September, when we really were looking to expand ourselves outside of Chambersburg, I would say. And we've been receiving requests for the past 3 years to franchise the brand of Brussels Cafe within certain location within the East Coast, and we always refuse because my main goal is to stay community and stay small. I'm not interested of becoming big because the day that I do that, we'll lose the connection and integration between me and my customer. And I'm totally not interested become a manager. I want to be able to do coffee and lattes and be creative with my pastries. If I become a manager, that will be taken away from me, and I'm not interested to do so. But on the other hand, we wanted to have a second sporadic location once in a while that we can just pull in, pull out, and that's where the food truck idea started. So we started hunting left and right all around for, and for the people that know me again, generic is not in my workbook. I have to be sometime a little bit extra, and I need something cool. If it's not cool, I won't do it. So we're hunting, and we're noticing that California is coming back with this huge new trend here lately where instead of using a food truck, they're refurbishing and building very old school food. I mean, not food, but like RV trailers, right? From the 60s and the 50s. The coolest thing ever. The more we review at it, it makes so much sense because you don't have the maintenance of a food truck. You don't have so many different, I would say, unneeded maintenance of a liability of a food truck, and you go on with style and recognizable style from a vintage look. So we started hunting, and we finally put our fingers on one that was in extremely state of despair, just like Brussels Cafe before we took care of it. And I say, cool, that's my guy right here, right? So we went to go pick it up and we put it in the storage. Why? Because pre-COVID, I have zero time to refinish this trailer, right? So, and then COVID hit. I say, okay, let's use our time wisely. We're going to go deep into that trailer now because my wife doesn't want to hang out with me, 7 days a week. She's like, go do something. Cool. I got something to do. So we've been working on now for a good 2.5 months, several days a week on getting it back and ready from getting stage to like back on. Um, it's been a learning experience, a lot of fun. We're trying to keep the vintage look of 1965. By the way, for the cool story, that the trailer was at Woodstock, so we're keeping stickers of that on, and we're completely recreating a very cool vintage yet up to today's NSF standard inside of the trailer. It should hit the road. We already get invited by a couple location within the county. It should hit the road by mid to end of July. That's when we're targeting right now
Good for you,
a
Alex.
rollout date. Yeah.
It pays to be a step ahead, huh? Be thinking into the future. I'll tell you, you already had a business backup plan for COVID lined up, and you're already a step ahead by having a food truck being prepared. So good for
Yeah,
you, my friend.
I mean, I think I'm a huge fan of good karma. When you do well, hopefully you'll get maybe a little something back at the
Well, hey,
right
you're
time.
always knocking on wood, so
That's right.
I'm always going to start doing that.
That's
So,
right.
well, hey, look, Eric Muir from Kegeris is going to get mad at me here because I have a lunch meeting with him here in a little while. So, got
You'll
to
have to say hello to him from me.
I absolutely will. Wanted to wrap up with you by asking you before we came on today. Tell me a little bit about this cool block party idea that you guys have starting.
So, okay, cool. So, Block Party, it came out from two things. During the state of despair of everybody being like segregated and confined at home, I put out a post about 2, 3 months ago saying, boy, I promise you guys that whenever this whole thing is over, we're going to throw a party. Like, we got to throw a party
Mm-hmm.
because the community needs it, right? So, and then I was like, okay, now I have to be held to my word to that. And as we start noticing that the very large event are starting to get canceled left and right around us, I say, well, what is a destination for our community? I mean, they need to have a destination, and I really don't take no for an answer. We got to find our way around that. So, well, we decided to create our own block parties. So, for some of the people they're familiar with what block parties are across the nation, we're not going to go that deep just yet, but we would love to become that deep and that cool of a party in the future. So we're planning to throw every summer at this point a couple block party starting in the alley, private parking lot, and expand toward a waterfall in the future. So we want to start it small and then grow from that because again, right now at this point is I'm the one managing this party and hopefully in the future as we grow we can have different partners in crime, I should say. They want to help us out and really throw this thing together because I think it's going to be a fun event to bring people from outside of downtown to downtown, people of downtown stay within downtown and just enjoy yourself. It's totally not about Brussels Cafe whatsoever. We're doing this just as a thank you to the community to be really fun and enjoy their time. So here's what you can expect about this first edition of Block Party, right? So the first one is going to be very easy. So we're securing permits from the borough to utilize the alley and our private parking lot in the back. And you will find different food vendors and food trucks at this point. We teamed up. I can already give you right now, they're solid and validate at
Mm-hmm.
this point, and then I'll have to keep you on your toes for a couple that are still waiting their final answers on them. But so we'll have some live music. There's going to be playing between 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. from a local DJ. I don't know if you're familiar with the DJ from Relax Lounge, Donald Kelly.
Okay.
Fun guy. I mean, that guy can throw a party if we ask me. Really fun guy, right? So definitely spring the ambiance and like enjoy a good time. So we'll have him spinning turntables in the alley. We will have. It may get loud. It's okay. Now the party is completely kid friendly, right? So, but also adult friendly. So we invited Tara from Lake House Distillery out of Waynesboro Main Street. They're coming down with their current setup. They're gonna have liquors and drinks available in the back parking lot within a certain perimeter. Then we also are teaming up with a couple different savory food vendors in the evening. They're gonna be parked their trucks in the back. We have three right now in the books. I don't want to announce which name yet, but I think everybody's going to enjoy it. And then we're also waiting this evening. We're having a really cool, and I'm not going to say who it is, but we're becoming food truck sisters and brother. Because let me just give you a hint. They're validating tonight if they're coming down. These two girls are running an amazing business at such a young age. They're having a really cool, and I'm not biased by any means, but food truck trailer that's also in the 1960s era and they're making some really banging, amazing mini donuts. I heard they're from Waynesboro. I think you guys can figure it out who's coming down at this point. So they're validating that this evening that they're going to be coming. Hopefully they will, knock on wood, because I love them. They're so cool. And then also we got to entertain our crowd a little bit, right? So we're going to have a company called Dem Hombres coming down, setting up a perimeter. And it's going to be a lot for young kiddos and even for myself, because I'm a young kiddo too, because that thing is the coolest thing ever. They're going to do some X game, get ready, rollerblading demonstrations on the back parking. So they're going to be flying in the air. They're going to be sliding rails and jumping boxes. So really cool, and we're going to have fun. And then we'll have a couple more things in our sleeve that evening as well. But we just wanted to start it small.
Starting it small. Holy moly, this thing's gonna.
There's a couple more things that we're trying to run for the kiddos to make it attractive, and the parents to make sure that the kiddos have a good time.
Well, Alex, that sounds really cool. And obviously off topic of this video today, let me know how I might be able to help out, being the chamber. If there's anything I can
Sure.
do, let's chat, because I'd love to be a
Yep.
part of something like that.
That'll
Okay.
be sure.
All right, man. Well, look, tell us where you're located on Main Street here. Tell us your website. And Alex, really, really appreciate your time, man. I've really enjoyed this conversation with you, brother.
Yes, me too. So, like most people, you can find us directly on Facebook. I think that's going to be the biggest platform that we're utilizing today. Now, obviously, depending on the age, right? If you're our age, it's going to be Facebook. A bit younger, you'll find us on Instagram. And if you're a little bit on the younger side still, you can even find us on TikTok. And I promise I won't do dancing or I won't do the singing, but we'll do some cool video to keep you entertained and find you as well there. Now you can pre-order with us either via our Square website that you can find the link under the Shop Now section on Facebook, ready and fast pickup. We'll get the order right away. And you can find us also within DoorDash for free deliveries from here to St. Thomas and from here all the way to Norlow Park. We provide free deliveries like that our customer can enjoy. And where do you find us in town? Well, it's very easy to find us at this point. We're right across from the biggest construction site on Main Street.
Alex, you're the man. Thanks, brother.
You're welcome. I love you.
All right,
and
man.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yep, sounds good, buddy. Take care.
All right, ciao.
Yep, bye.